Social and political commentary from a Christian male perspective.
Shout out to Willie, who suggested that I go back and actually look at Cassandra Hopson Jordan's interview on the Dinesh Harrison podcast from earlier. So let's go ahead and check it out. Let's go.
For the break or after the break, I said that I was going to try to get Cassandra Hopson Jordan on the phone, the candidate running for mayor of Dolton, and we have her on the phone, I believe. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
All is well, all is well. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I know we talked earlier about you coming on the show. I appreciate you taking the time to call in. And if you didn't catch the show before this phone call, I talked a little bit about Thornton Township, not much, but I did mention Thornton Township about all the melee that went on yesterday and how we just need to do better. So let's talk about what's on your mind. What would you like to talk about?
Well, guys, kind of forgive me. I'm under the weather. So my voice is kind of jacked up right now. But I just a phone call yesterday, and because after the meeting on Monday, I got real sick. So I literally have been in the bed under the weather. And so I haven't really been paying attention to TV or anything because I'm just like really in a bad way right now. And so I get the phone call and they were like, have you seen what is going on? And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And they're like, flip the TV on. And Lord and behold, I see all the chaos that broke out yesterday. And I have been saying for a minute that if these people don't learn how to calm all this anger down and learn how to suppress it, I knew that sooner or later a fight would break out. It's just only a matter of time. And we have to do better. We really do have to do better. I mean, we are like the laughing stock of the world. And it has just gotten just as bad. And it's sad. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, I mentioned. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, it's a sad situation. And it's embarrassing. It really is.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier about they were showing some people who talked about how shocked and how surprised they were about what happened. And these are the same people who you see at the meetings every day, agitating and egging things on. So I find it hard to believe that a lot of the people who were on the news talking about how surprised they were truly surprised. I believe that everyone who's been following this has expected that it would get to this point.
Yeah, because literally, and it's sad to say, but it's all of the Jason House supporters, all of the Dolton meetings, all of the Thornton Township meetings. You have the same group of people that shows up, and it's at a point now, this is not even about politics anymore. All of this stuff has gone to a personal level. I think every last one of those people, especially all of the ones that she might have promised jobs to or that work with her. I even look at the young lady, Stephanie. I'm like, what's the point of being a trustee if you get on the board and you disagree with everything? I think all of this stuff is just at a personal level. And this is why we need to change the guard. I say for the Thornton Township, all of those trustees need to go. Tiff need to go. I say for Dolton, all those trustees need to go. House and Tiffany, we need just a whole new administration because we have just gotten to such a horrible place. And it's funny that I'm, watching certain YouTubers, bloggers, or whatever you want to call them, no offense. And I'm starting to hear a lot of people say, and I was like, oh, really? Now, when I said it, I was crucified. But I'm starting to hear a lot of people say, you know what? At this point, everybody just needs to go and the state needs to really just come in and take over. Because
I have not heard anybody say that. I would love to know who it is that's actually saying that the state needs to take over Dolton or the township or whatever like that. I'd love to hear that. It also I'm glad that somebody told me to watch this. And if you want, I'll go back and actually play the host, Mr. Harrison. He gives like his opening monologue and you kind of see where he comes from. Because a lot of people were wondering, why did he hitch his horse to this campaign? He kind of explains it a little bit. So if you want me to, just let me know down in the comments if you want me to go back over. It's about 20 minutes, give or take. But I think listening to her talk about this is very key. Now, she does say Tiffany's bad, but I'm waiting to hear her say why she's better. What is getting rid of them mean? What does that mean? And what is the outcome of getting rid of them? Let's go.
because at the rate that they're going, the state probably will come in and take over. When you look at the village, the trustees, let's be honest, they put the narrative out there about the village being broke. That never actually came from the mayor. That's a narrative that they put out there. So when you look at the village of Dolton, we are a home run entity. And when you look at everything that's going on, they claim we're in a huge deficit. People can't get along. They haven't been doing their audits, so therefore they've not been able to get any federal grants. And when I look this thing up, they meet all the qualifications of the state coming in and taking over. Mm-hmm. At this point, none of them need to be in those seats because all of this animosity, all of this stuff started with the people that support Jason House. It's the same group of people. A lot of people don't want to say it, and they walk around it and tiptoe around. Well, I'm not tiptoeing around it. I'm not a bandwagon jumper. I don't just go along with the crowd. I have no problem with speaking my mind. And it's his supporters that constantly goes to these meetings and that causes chaos. Now, when you look at Mayor Tiffany, Supervisor Tiffany, I just believe this girl has truly, well, let me rephrase it, this woman, young woman, has truly reached her breaking point. And I believe she felt like at this point, I have nothing to lose. So let me get all this frustration out of me. I mean, when people...
And there it is. Tiffany is a hero. Tiffany is just a victim of the mean, evil trustees and their supporters. Not that Tiffany's done anything wrong, but that Tiffany's just misunderstood. Y'all don't understand her. Y'all don't appreciate her. That is wild. Okay, let's go.
People constantly poke at the bear, and it's just constant bully, constant harassment from both sides. Sooner or later, I knew that bomb was going to explode.
So for those who haven't seen the news, can you explain a little bit more about what happened with Tiffany and yesterday?
Well, I saw the part where after Jedediah made his comment, then he kind of walked towards the front and then he turned around and walked back. Now, a lot of them say, and people get mad, and I don't care. A lot of them say Kamal started it. But the LaVelle guy, if you really watch it and pay close attention, he swung first. Yes, Kamal put his hands out as to kind of like hold him back. But the young man actually swung first. And then Jedediah interjected himself into the fight. And then Tiffany come running out of nowhere, interjecting herself into the fight. And it's just mad chaos. And the part that's really disappointing, you have a lot of those seniors that's in there and they act like a bunch of high schoolers. Everybody, I'm looking at old women running up, trying to hold grown men back. They're swinging like mad vultures. And they're acting like a bunch of high schoolers. Everybody trying to, see what's going on, not taking into consideration the fact that somebody could truly get hurt.
Somebody could have died.
A chaotic mess.
Somebody could have got killed yesterday.
Yeah. And, we live in a day and time where people like to come back with weapons. When they feel like they've lost the fight or feel like they wasn't vindicated enough, people like to come back with weapons. And it's just unfortunate. And this is why I constantly keep saying, all of these people need to go. None of them are fit to run a dog show, let alone the government. They're not. They all need to go. They all had an opportunity to do something great. And since all of them have been in office, it has just been chaotic. And I'm going to keep reminding the people.
It's been chaotic since day one, really? That's such an interesting take. But I'm waiting again for her to tell us what is she going to do differently.
Those of you that voted for her, you did this for your village. You trustees, you worked hard to get her in there. You brought the chaos to the village, and it will not be overlooked. And these are the consequences of the people's choices. And now they want to get back in the seat to fix a mess that they basically created. You guys knew how this young lady was. You've been on the trustee board with her for years. You've seen her disposition. You've seen her attitude. You've seen the whole 9 yards. And I just believe everybody had their own political agenda. And I believe once Miss Tiffany got in there, she was a little hot-headed and felt like she couldn't be controlled. And then this is where the chaos began. They probably really thought they could have got that young lady in there and control her. And then when they saw that they couldn't, then all the drama began. But I want to say to these House supporters, at this point, put your hate down and just go sit down somewhere. If it's just that serious, it is something as simple as just vote her out. It's just that simple. We don't have to keep fighting every meeting. You can't really.
It's almost like she doesn't realize, and I know I'm kind of conflating Thornton and Dolton because she is as well. It's kind of like she doesn't realize that they tried to get her out of there. They tried a recall to get rid of her, and that was deemed unfair, blah, blah, blah. But it's like she's almost missing the fact that they brought her in and they realized it was wrong. Therefore, they tried to get rid of her, and the recall was deemed unfair. So I don't know if she doesn't realize that, but she's also just conflating Thornton and Dolton, because I don't hear her mention anything going on as it relates to the candidates in Thornton. But let's go.
You hear a word edgewise, and then people say, well, we don't see you at the meeting. Why would I want to come and be bothered with that chaotic mess where it's constant fighting and arguing and calling people all out of their name? And then a lot of these folks, you don't even live in the village, nor do you live in the township. You just here for drama.
So wait. So you don't come to the meeting because so you want to be mayor, but you have to come to the meetings then? There's going to potentially be drama. There's going to be potentially harsh words said and such like that. Are you not going to come then too? This is so wild.
And it's crazy. And it's at this point, all of them, they need to wake up tomorrow and all of them just need to resign. Let a whole new crew come in and start afresh. And it need to be someone that is not attached to any of them. Because if we keep recycling the same old people, it's unfortunate that if Mr. House get in there, we're going to be in a worse off situation than what we are. All we did was change the name, but you're still dealing with the same crazy people that come and keep up chaos 24/7.
So what do you think is the motivation? So you have people who, as you said, day in and day out, they're agents of chaos is what I would like to call them. What do you think motivates someone so much to continue to do what they do? Because when I first came to the village, I said, well, it's a lot of people that's passionate about what's going on in the village. They're really passionate. That's the word I kept using. I can understand someone being upset because things were not done according to what they were promised, or things were not done correctly with their taxpayers' dollars. But as you said, if you don't like what's going on, change the guard by voting. So what do you think continues to motivate these people to do what they do the way they do it?
Well, what motivates them is hate. They have literally allowed a spirit of hate to take over them because it's no longer political. All of this stuff is on a personal level. All of this is turned personal. Because you just, to constantly keep feeding into it and going and going and going, it's like at some point, you all ought to be tired. Just go to the polls and vote the woman out. It's just that simple.
But why not give a policy, a platform, just go vote? Well, that's kind of reckless. Didn't they just go vote when they got Tiffany in position? Didn't they just go vote when they got these trustees in position? Why don't you have a policy or plan so that I can vote for something more intelligent? Or I can say, oh, this person right here, they have a better plan. I don't know any reason to vote for you. So why would I not just vote for Jason and think that he's going to do better? Why would I not just vote for the trustees and believe that they're going to do better? I think it's weird that she's going on this angle, but let's go.
If you realize, okay, we made a mistake, we put her in, why all the chaos? Because at the end of the day, what is really getting accomplished?
Right.
When you look at the young lady that's a trustee now, what are you accomplishing? It's like you can see the anger there.
She just got in yesterday.
Why become a trustee just to vote down everything? That doesn't make sense. And this is why I say people have to learn to stay professional. Put your personal feelings to the side. As I told the young lady on Monday night, and this is what the problem is. Too many cliques and too many friendships. Too many, oh, that's my sis or that's my brother. And then people can't decipher the difference when they get into the workplace. And this is why at this point, I'm going to keep saying it and I'm going to keep reiterating it. All of these people need to go. They have, Lord forgive me, my language, but they have made a complete shit show of this township and this village.
Wow.
So yesterday, I believe that there was a vote to have the insurance taken care of for Thornton Township. I believe that was accomplished yesterday. So this is my question to you. Do you feel that without the other trustee coming in, that they could have gotten that accomplished a long time ago?
Of course they could have gotten it accomplished. But once again, people keep allowing their personal feelings to get in the way.
And the people were caught out.
I get it. I get it, Gonzalez. You feel like you made a mistake, but I felt like you know what you were doing at the ninth hour. You knew what you were doing. I don't believe that you didn't know what you were doing. Carmen Carlisle, you were Tiffany Ace Coon Boom. Now that the feds are involved, you want to turn holy. So all this stuff is just personal. They could have had this situation handled if they stay professional and put their personal feelings to the side. You got to go to work and handle the business. Leave the personal stuff outside the door. And let me tell you, if I was this insurance company, after seeing what I saw last night, I wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole because they are a liability.
Though I agree with you, what is your plan that would be different? Now, granted, I hate that they're conflicting Dolton and Thornton, but in any capacity, what would you do differently? Crash out Cassie.
Wouldn't touch them. They would wake up today or the next day after all of this happened, and they would yet not be insured because I wouldn't touch them. With that amount of chaos that happened yesterday, what insurance company would want to touch them? Look at all the lawsuits that's going to come after them.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. I believe that if someone can come in and take care of the business that should have been taken care of a long time ago, that it's really not about the people. And we've talked about this extensively, that you have to put the people first. You know, the people are in the middle of all this mess. And so to give the illusion that it took another trustee, and we're talking about Thornton Township,
correct,
to come in and take the seat in order for business to move forward, that tells me that the trustees that were already in the seat just refused to do their jobs.
But why? I don't
because
understand
everything is personal. I don't believe any of this stuff has to do with business. All of this is at the point it is a personal beef now. This is what I feel. As far as Dolton is concerned, as far as the township is concerned, because let's get it, Tiffany has pissed off a lot of people. She's fired people. She's done a lot of things. But here I say once again, you want her out? Just go to the polls.
Right.
A lot of this craziness is it's unbelievable. But to see a lot of those seniors in there running around like a bunch of high schoolers, clapping and cheering that stuff on, you know, I just side-eye them. Like, what have we come to that, you know, we're encouraging this kind of behavior?
Right. It was truly a mob mentality from what I saw. And of course, you wasn't there. I wasn't there. But based on what we're seeing, you know, all over the news, as I said earlier, 24/7, you saw a mob mentality. And for those of you who don't understand what a mob mentality is, basically, when you see so much chaos going on and there's so many people around, they start to take part in the chaos, almost uncontrollably.
It's like the spirit craves it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't live without the messiness. I can't live without the drama.
Okay. And I appreciate them telling what was their perception of what happened at the infamous Thornton Township Throwdown. I got you. What is your policy going to be to make this a easy, smooth, come in here, do your work, get done with the business, leave situation? Because you want to right this ship. The ship is going in the wrong direction, according to you. What are you going to do differently? And I'm also finding it interesting, she's not mentioning the candidates that are running for Thornton Township supervisor. Just seems interesting.
So with all the melee that happened yesterday and with the words that are being spoke right now and the words that were spoke last week, how many times have you seen, again, someone calling you a Tiffany plant? You guys are plants.
Well, you know what, at this point, when I look at it, I don't even cast my pearls among swine. And I'll let that statement speak for itself.
Right,
Eagles just don't hang out with peasants. That's where I look at it.
Wow.
You know, when you don't have anything else to talk about or any other factual facts or anything of that nature, people get to the point where they just make up stuff. So for those that says all that crazy stuff, you know, I'm like this, honey, I'm an eagle and I don't come down to the level of peasants.
Mm.
I won't even entertain it.
Mm-hmm.
But you do realize you didn't answer the question, all right? Okay, fine. You can say that you're above the hoi polloi, but you do realize you didn't answer the question. So that's probably why you keep hearing that question.
Yeah, we have said it before, and we're going to continue to say it. We're not picking anybody's side. It's about the people.
As I said it before, and from day one, when it all started back at the Lori Lightfoot first reveal, and when I mounted the podium, as I said from day one, and I like to think I made myself very clear. As I stated, I'm not for Tiffany, nor am I for House, because at the end of the day, you cannot separate the two. They all run the village, all of them. They all play a part in it. So you just can't point the finger and say, well, it's just this one. Then what are you guys doing? And then you can't say, well, it's them. Then what are you doing? They got to understand, you all are supposed to be a team. And as far as I am concerned, they have all failed the village. They had one assignment, and that was to protect us. But greed and fighting and foolishness and discord and disagreement, all of that stuff took precedence over making sure the business was handled in the village. So at this point, as I say again, I'm not for either one of them. That's why I'm in the race.
Okay. So again, now they're supposed to work together as a team, but I thought you said they're not supposed to fraternize. They're supposed to just come in and don't have personal stake in the game. They just come in and do their work and leave out of there. So if they do that, if they do that, will they have some kind of camaraderie? Will they have some kind of, dare I say, fraternity amongst one another, like one another, that kind of stuff? Because it seems like liking one another and working with each other is a bad thing. I guess, never mind.
Just about to
Because
ask you
they all
that.
need to go.
So this is one of the deciding factors that propelled you to get into the race.
Most definitely. Well, when they kept saying, well, we need people to come out, we want people to come out and get involved. Well, here's the thing. A lot of them want people to come out and get involved, but you want to control the narrative and you want to control how they get involved. You don't get to control me. You don't get to tell me how to be involved. And you don't get to tell me I can't run for mayor. Now, yes, I'm involved. I'm involved the way I choose to be involved. You don't get to think for me and you don't get to paint the narrative. See, they want people to come out, but they want to control the narrative because everybody got their own little motive.
What does that mean?
And they have their own little hidden agenda.
So after yesterday, what do you think the outcome is going to be because of what happened yesterday at the township? Because as I said before, what happens in the township affects the villages, and what happens in Dolton Village affects the township. We're all a part of one another when it comes to services, when it comes to how we need to communicate as a legislative body. Everyone can benefit from one another, and everyone can suffer from each other as well. And we've seen that with places like Harvey, for example. So, what do you think the outcome is going to be because of what happened yesterday?
To be honest with you, I really don't know. I really don't. It's just, I don't know. It's one of those things like you just have to wait and see because we never know how things might turn out. We might be expecting things to go one way and then it might shock us and go a totally different way. So honestly, I really don't even know how this thing is going to turn out.
So you're in go ahead.
I just pray that these same group of people that keep coming to the meetings, mounting the podiums, and they have the same old comments, the same old stuff. I really want all these people to step back, take a look at themselves, reflect on their part in all of this, and stop with the madness. You pissed off, go to the polls and vote for who you want and end it that way. But all of this fighting, all of this hatred, all of the cyberbullying, this dumb politics, all this crazy stuff, it is an embarrassment. And it almost, well, I'm not even going to say that one. I'm going to leave that thought in my head. But go ahead.
No, so when all the smoke clears and when the people who saw what we saw happen yesterday, for those people who are in the middle that just want things to be done the right way, that just want to have change and things move in a positive direction, what are you going to offer the people should you become mayor of Dolton?
Here we go.
What I can offer the people when I become mayor of Dolton, I offer you 110% of me. See, I'm not the one that like to come in and make promises that I know that I can't keep. My goal is when I get in office, and one of the main things is you have to sit down and take a look at the books. People, say, how are you going to clear up a deficit? Well, I can't clear up what I don't see. So you have to actually sit down and take the time, go through all the books, look at all of.
See, this would be a great opportunity for her to say, when she says, look at the books, like explain that. Just explain that out. Are you yourself smart enough to look at the books and figure it out? Or are you going to get a team? You're going to get an outside independent auditing firm? You're going to pay this? Like, how are you going to look at the books? What does that mean? Concrete. Because this was only a month right after the Thornton Township Throwdown. So, hey, the election is ramping up. So you should be given some really clear policies, not something ethereal that doesn't really, and nebulous. What are you going to actually do? And she still hasn't said it.
Position. You got to look at everything before you actually start making decisions. Now, my job and one of my main goals is to bring businesses into Dolton. We need businesses. We need a tax relief for the middleman. I keep often saying, we the seniors and the kids, but also in the middleman that is paying the brunt of the taxes, that's getting taxed to death, doesn't get a relief or relief. So my goal is to bring businesses into this village so we can relieve the load of the taxpayer.
This is the
And I
exact
believe
same
once
thing
you
she said
build this
before.
village up, then you attract home buyers. You attract people into the village.
These are all good ideas. I'm not even arguing with that. But the problem is they're just ideas. Like when you say bring businesses in, what type of businesses? What type of businesses are you looking for to bring in? And for what reason? What are they going to be the benefit for them to come in? Because she's making it sound like these businesses are coming in without any tax benefit to them to come in. And I think that's going to be problematic. But we digress. What is your plan? Where's your laid out scheme that you're going to be running on? Let's go.
So once you build it up, you attract home buyers, which get those houses filled, which gives everybody a relief on these taxes. You know, I get all this other stuff. You know, when you look at it, like, really, who's going to be quick to give us a grant when they look at all the chaos and the confusion and all the stuff that's going on? Nobody really wants to touch this village.
So it's going to take a new
I heard one of the
administration.
trustees say, you know, we trying to get, you know, some grants from the federal and get some help from the state. But when I say something about the state, oh, then, you know, you get ready to crucify me, but it's okay for you to say, we need to get some help from the state. Well, I got news for you. At the way things are looking, I wouldn't doubt if the state wouldn't come in and take over. You got to think about it. You don't have a fire chief. You don't have a chief of police. You know, a lot of positions are not filled and people are just fighting and acting.
That's a great question. So, Cassandra Crash Out, how are you going to get a new fire chief? How are you going to get a new chief of police? Like, explain that out. What is your hiring criteria? Where are you going to be looking? Are they going to be from in-state, out-of-state, in the township, somewhere abroad? Where are you getting these people from? How are you going to do a search committee? At least talk about it. All this stuff sounds like you're just throwing things out into the air and you've never actually thought about them.
Like a bunch of folks.
Yeah,
So at this point, with the state honestly coming in, will probably be the best thing for the village.
well, you'll definitely get transparency. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I believe that not only does Thornton Township need peace, but the village of Dolton definitely needs peace. We all need peace, and we all need to be still and assess what's going on around us and move forward to do, as you said, you know, we need to vote. We need to make sure.
I'm sorry to cut you off about this Thornton Township. Honestly, my personal thought, it needs to be done away with. That's just another entity that's eating up the taxpayer dollars. All the services that the Thornton Township offers, every town or village should be able to offer those services to their own people. Why are the people getting double taxed for a public aid service? That each mayor should have a program in place that does those things for their people in their village or their town or whatever you want to call it. It needs to be done away with. That's just another entity where people sit around and say, we're going to make plenty of money. Think about the number of people that actually use those services and pay taxes into it daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly. So I think that entity needs to go away altogether. And every mayor needs to put in a program where they offer those services to their people that's in their town or in their village that's in need.
That's an interesting point.
Because all we're doing is get double tax.
I don't disagree with that, but I do. I really wonder, did she know that there are candidates running for these positions? Because she doesn't actually have any smoke for the Thornton Township people. She doesn't even mention them. It's very possible. I don't think that she even knows that there are rather two men running for this position. I just wonder why she says that like that. Interesting. Okay, we're almost done.
And to me, it makes no sense. It's just another entity that the good old boys sat around and thought of, and another way to get rich.
Very interesting point. Definitely want to talk more about that. So before I let you go, final words.
I'm sorry, my throat is just wrong right now. My final thought is, I just want people to get it together. Stop with all this hatred. Stop with all this bullying, because that's just only the beginning of what's going to happen. If it got to that point, it's going to get even worse. And I'm just afraid that somebody is going to get seriously hurt, because this stuff is not about politics anymore. People have personal vendettas. People want vengeance. They want to feel like they're vindicated because Tiffany did this to me, and Tiffany fired me, and Tiffany did that, and Tiffany did this. Go to the polls and vote her out. It's just that simple. But this personal grudge and this personal vendetta, because I look at every last person that supposedly have worked with her. And when I look at them and I listen to their language, it's about being vindicated. It has become personal. This has nothing to do with politics.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate your thoughts. I hope to have you on the show again soon, and I hope you feel better. And thank you for sharing your thoughts about not only what happened yesterday or what happened Monday, but how you feel overall about where the village is right now and where we need to go to make these things better. So thank you for your support and trying to make the village better. And thank you for putting your hat in the ring to run for Mayor of Dolton. So I appreciate the time.
Most definitely.
All right. Get better, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Absolutely.
Okay, I got to admit, that's probably the most she's ever shared as it relates to a policy or an idea as it relates to getting rid of the township. I mean, that's kind of interesting. She talked about doing an audit. She talked about needing to get businesses in, getting homeowners in, though these are just observations. Again, as I said before, all you got to do is have two good eyes to see that these needs are there. So she hasn't really done the things that I thought she would do, or would rather hope that she would do, which is, give some policies, give some ideas that you really are trying to tease out and such like that. But hey, anyway, let me know what you thought about it. The whole interview, that was a whole interview with Cassandra. In the beginning, Mr. Harrison kind of explains a little bit about his own philosophy. If you just let me know down in the comments if you want. I can do that as well. I can go back over it. I thought it was kind of not necessary, but if it maybe helps you understand a little bit why he chose to work with her as his candidate. I know a lot of people were wondering that. It kind of sheds a little light on that as well, but not a whole lot, but it does shed some on there. But you know what does shed some light? The fact that you all have liked this video, shared this video, and commented down below. Thank you to all 36, almost 37,000 of you all who've subscribed to the channel, because you're helping me hit my goal of 50,000 by the end of April. So thank you all so much. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.